It was supposed to be a routine diplomatic flight. Burkina Faso's interim leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, was en route to a private meeting with regional allies when suddenly, mid-air, alarms sounded in the cockpit. The jet, a sleek government aircraft built for high security, dropped altitude sharply. The cabin lights flickered. Passengers inside, security staff, advisors and engineers, looked at one another in silent confusion. Traoré remained calm, eyes fixed on the front as his military instincts kicked in. The pilot's voice rang out, "We are making an emergency descent." No one knew what had gone wrong, but everyone would soon find out. And what came next stunned the world. The jet veered off its planned route and headed toward a remote airstrip in northern Togo. Communication was limited. Within minutes, news of the emergency landing leaked to international networks. Social media exploded. "Traoré jet in crisis," one tweet read. "Burkina Faso's leader forced to land. Details unknown." Security forces across West Africa were alerted. Meanwhile, on the ground, residents near the makeshift landing zone watched the skies in disbelief as the jet descended, wheels screeching onto the rugged tarmac. Emergency vehicles weren't even nearby. This wasn't a commercial airport, but what happened when the plane stopped was even more unbelievable. Instead of being rushed into an armored convoy, Traoré calmly stepped out of the aircraft. Locals gathered around, expecting fear or confusion. Instead, they witnessed something remarkable. The president saluted the crew, shook the pilot's hand, and addressed the crowd. "We are safe," he said, "and that is all that matters." With no cell service and limited backup, Traoré took charge of the situation himself. He instructed his team to inspect the aircraft, secured the perimeter, and even helped set up a temporary communications relay using equipment from the jet. The image of a president in military fatigues helping his own crew went viral within hours. Back in Burkina Faso, officials scrambled to ensure national stability. Rumors of sabotage circulated quickly. Intelligence teams traced potential threats from opposition-linked groups and foreign agents who opposed Traoré's recent anti-colonial stance. Meanwhile, international news channels began broadcasting coverage non-stop. But what captivated viewers the most was not the incident itself, but how Traoré handled it. No panic, no fleeing, just decisive, visible leadership in real time. He wasn't hiding behind protocol. He was front and center, reassuring citizens both on the ground and across digital platforms. Hours passed before a backup aircraft could be cleared for departure. But Traoré refused to leave until he inspected the original plane with engineers. Once it was confirmed that mechanical failure, not external interference, had triggered the alarm, Traoré gave a statement. "Even the strongest vessels can falter, but strong men must stand firm." That quote flooded every news ticker across Africa. Opposition figures remained silent, knowing any criticism would appear petty. Traoré had turned a potential disaster into a display of humility, strength, and composure. The region had seen presidents hide from crisis, but Traoré ran toward it. Diplomatic leaders began responding with support. Mali's transitional government praised Traoré's courage. Guinea issued a statement of solidarity. Even some Western observers, usually critical of his rhetoric, admitted they were impressed by his hands-on leadership. In Burkina Faso's capital, crowds took to the streets, not in protest, but in celebration. Posters appeared overnight reading, "Our captain doesn't abandon ship." The emergency landing had become more than a flight issue. It was now a symbol of Traoré's resilience and credibility as a leader who doesn't rely on luxury, but leads through presence. Social media took over the narrative. Memes circulated, showing Traoré carrying a radio, fixing equipment, and walking through dust-covered fields with local farmers. Hashtags like "Chen Captain" on the ground and Traore unshaken trended across African Twitter. Young people began using clips from the incident to inspire activism, leadership talks, and civic pride. One viral video showed Traore giving water to a child near the airstrip. A real leader, the caption read. The moment, though born of crisis, had become a PR triumph, one that no marketing team could have planned. Traore was now a face of authenticity in a sea of political performance. Within 48 hours, Traore returned to Burkina Faso. His first stop wasn't the presidential palace. It was a mechanic hangar at the Air Force Base. He personally thanked the ground crew who would inspect the damaged jet. "No throne without the workers," he said. Analysts began calling the moment the turning point in regional politics. In an era of fragile governments and foreign pressure, here stood a man who didn't collapse under crisis, but thrived. It didn't matter whether you agreed with his policies. What mattered was the example he set, one of readiness, resolve, and refusal to let fear dictate action. Meanwhile, security agencies continued investigating the cause. Although officially labeled mechanical, speculation continued. Online forums debated, was this just an accident or a quiet message sent through silent means? Regardless, the symbolic power of Traoré's response overshadowed any plot. International media outlets invited him for interviews. He declined. "I don't need to talk," he said in a rare post. "The people have already spoken." That post alone gained millions of likes in under a day. His silence, in contrast to political noise, was seen as strength. The world didn't just witness a landing, they witnessed leadership redefined. As the dust settled, one thing became clear. The emergency landing would be remembered not as a near tragedy, but as a milestone in Ibrahim Traoré's legacy. In a world filled with scripted speeches and stage-managed politics, his natural response, in a real moment of danger, stood out. It showed the kind of leader who doesn't wait for others to act, one who steps into the fire without hesitation. The plane may have malfunctioned, but the man didn't, and that, more than any speech or ceremony, is what truly shocked everyone.